Welcome to the Ed Leader's Edge podcast, where we interview innovators and thought leaders in the field of education who are helping students thrive. I'm your host, Ed Madison. I'm a professor and researcher at the University of Oregon, an educational consultant, and serve as executive director of the Journalistic Learning Initiative, a nonprofit organization that empowers elementary, middle, and high school students to discover their voice, improve academic outcomes, and become self-directed learners through project-based storytelling. Welcome to our program. Well, welcome back to the podcast. Randy Dougherty is a lifetime educator. In his 20 plus years, he's been a longtime high school principal and is currently superintendent at the Wheatland R2 school in Hickory County, Missouri. He's also the founder of Lock Now Safety, which is an app which we'll talk about. Welcome to the podcast, Randy. How are you?
I'm doing good. I appreciate the invite to be on with you.
Yeah, thanks. So your district is very small. Like I think about 316 students that I counted. I'm
Yep.
guessing that gives
Yes,
you an opportunity. Yeah, I'm guessing that gives you an opportunity to really get to know the students, on a personal level.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, this is just my second year here. I was at a neighboring district for a little over 18 years before I came here, and that's the bonus of being here is you can walk out your door and you can see anywhere from pre-K kids to high school kids within 30 seconds to a minute. I can be in the pre-K room, which I go in there somewhat frequently just because I enjoy it so much. But no, that is definitely the bone. I mean, just an incentive to work at a small school. You get to know the kids on a personal level, and it's fun.
Yeah. Now, so are all the students in the same building?
We are all connected. Yep. My office is kind of towards the middle. And if you go one direction, you get middle school, high school. And if you go the other direction, you get the elementary kids. So yeah, it's one long building. Yeah.
Okay. I read that your graduation rate is 99%. What are you doing right?
It's been pretty good. Yeah, it's been pretty good. And I think that boils down to, just relationships in a small school. And that was a similar feeling I had at my previous district. Relationships are really what education's all about. And, that's what, that's what it's all about. And that's what leans on everything, it leans on everything we do, and student success is a part of that. Whether it be a kid that's at the top of their class or at the bottom, their relationship with those kids is the most important thing that we have.
Mm-hmm. Now, but it's not basically affluent area. I mean, 71%, I think, of your students are on eligible for free and reduced lunch, and sometimes, I think that unfortunately people think that that's there's a correlation between that and academics, but your students are doing well, so that's a credit to the work that you're doing there.
Yeah, yeah, you've got to be careful when you look at that, as you probably know. When you have a higher number of free and reduced, it may pose some other challenges outside the classroom, whether that be the resources the kids have or parent support. But, once they get here, we try to look at them all the same. I think all schools do that, and just try to fulfill their potential as best we can. But no, our people do a good job, and they're quality people, and I've been in several schools, and 3 or 4 in my tenure in education, and there's so many quality people in them. It's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about school safety and the app that you developed. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I consider myself a high school principal. I was a high school principal for 18 years. And so safety, being responsible for safety of everybody, especially the older kids, is a pretty big responsibility. But I always felt vulnerable, knowing that a threat could enter at any time, and the communication wouldn't be there. So I always felt like we needed a panic button type of technology. And so about 3 years ago, I talked my wife into going out on a limb and developing the technology that would do that. And I didn't want
Did
to.
that
I
mean
wanted it to be
saying you wanted to use you wanted to draw down some funds or from your bank account? Was that what you when you said you had to?
absolutely, absolutely. If you're gonna go into debt, you better talk to your better half and get their permission for sure. Um, but it was going out on a limb. I conferred with several administrators leading up to it, and we remain a simple technology. I know there's a lot of them out there that get real complicated, but we just want to be able to alert and continue to communicate for everybody in the building, so we can avoid the awful situations like Parkland, Florida, and Uvalde, where their buildings went minutes upon minutes without knowing that there was a shooter right there. And it really, you can envision it happening easily, because you get panic sets in, and we're not thinking clearly, and we have to call the office, who has to announce it. And the panic button alert is the way to go with it, because we can get everybody locked down a lot faster. And so it's a passion of mine. Safety is, and we're working towards active threat training, not just in schools but other facilities too. And but we're what we hang our hat on is being simple, and really trying to offer it at a price that all schools can use it, not just the bigger schools. I'm a smaller school person, so I want smaller schools to be able to afford it, not just the big technology for big schools. So we're still growing, we're still improving, but it's been a fun project, and I look forward to that continuing. But it'll save lives one of these days. I'm convinced of that.
Let's step away from our conversation for a moment for me to tell you about the Journalistic Learning Initiative's innovative educational tools and services. Of special note is JLI's Comfort Corner initiative, a video library featuring near-peer role models sharing about their mental health journeys. This innovative resource destigmatizes mental health challenges, provides a gateway to seeking professional help, and supports your students in realizing they're not alone. If you're looking to make the best decision for your teaching staff and students about AI adoption, improving student engagement, strengthening writing skills, promoting social media mindfulness, or enhancing college and career readiness, please take a moment to visit our website at journalisticlearning.org. Our team of University of Oregon researchers offer customized AI tools, instructional materials, professional development, and consulting. Research confirms that students with journalistic learning experience outperform their peers on numerous key indicators for college and career readiness. At the heart of our work is empowering learners to become effective communicators. If you think about it, effective communication is critical in every human interaction, whether it's writing an essay for a grade or being interviewed to secure employment. Since 2015, JLI has benefited nearly 20,000 students and served schools in 15 states and the District of Columbia. I invite you to schedule an appointment to explore how JLI can improve your students' learning outcomes. Now back to our program.
Can you say how many schools are using it, and give a little bit more of a sense of kind of how it's used or how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. We are, we're in 20, almost 30 some schools right now. As you can tell, I'm with me working as an educator. Marketing isn't something that we really have focused on. We haven't, I haven't spent many money on marketing, so we rely on word of mouth and social media, which when I have time. But yeah, so it's I just picked up a couple partners in the last 6 months that I think we're going to be able to work on the marketing side of things. But basically, we're in the process of implementing the standard response protocol, which is a nonprofit organization that started this, and it's a protocol that's growing throughout the country, being more. I guess its use is more common. That way, everybody's using the same language, whether it be law enforcement or schools or whatever. But basically, if I saw a school shooter or a threat, I would hit a button to start the lockdown process. I would hit a button that tells everybody where that threat is. He's at the main office. I would hit that button. So we have it catered or, programmed to each facility it's in. After that, it sends an alert to everybody saying that, there's an active threat near the high school. And so it goes off like an Amber Alert type alarm, unless they change their settings to get everybody's attention. And, after that, it's a messaging where they can each communicate to each other, with each other anywhere on campus. The bad guy's in the gym now. The bad guy left the building, or he's, we're updates on everything. So we designed it simple because in a stressful situation, we obviously need simple. But our goal was to get everybody's attention with it. Tell them where the bad guy is and allow everybody to update. And we can include the police in that, so they can get in response quicker. They can monitor the internal communication on their way or their dispatch. Like here, we have 2 schools in our county using it here, and the dispatch has it on their phone, so they can watch internal communication if something would happen and update their people as they're en route. It's been a good project. I believe in it 100%, and I 100% believe that whether a school would buy our technology or somebody else's, I believe every school should have that panic button technology where anybody can alert everybody within a few seconds, because you don't know. The school the intruders aren't going to check in at the office, so getting that communication throughout the school within a few seconds is very important, as we've learned.
I wanted to ask you about student mental health, and certainly concerns about active shooters and things like that contribute to the fact that a lot of our teens are being challenged. Do you find that you're observing that even in a very small school environment, just the pressures of social media and all the other things that are happening in larger communities?
Absolutely. I would, if you look back towards 2020, right before COVID and leading up to COVID and after COVID, in those years, those early part of those years, I was a high school principal and at a different district, but in a bigger, but probably not something you would consider large. 700 total students, a couple hundred in the high school, and worked fairly closely with the counselor there. And it was the late teens and into that time, and especially since COVID, that the counselor's office, the traffic slowly increased, and that has continued. And we just kind of observed that and didn't know why. And I can only speculate as to why, but I think it's all of that. I think but I believe social media and those sort of things, it kind of came hand in hand with that being more prevalent in our kids' lives. So I think social media and cell phone usage was definitely has a strong role or impact in that. But I mean, this violence in schools obviously has to contribute too. And, it's sickening to watch our kids go through that and practice drills. However, a school will practice it regardless, but to have elementary kids have to practice lockdown drills. And, but yeah, it's not, it hasn't missed the rural areas. We're seeing the same things. And it
And I
is
wonder,
concerning. And,
yeah, sometimes I wonder whether or not the practice drills, may have a bit of an adverse effect, just in terms of
Yeah.
just sort of
Yeah.
perpetuating the fear, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody studied that.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely, I think schools have to be careful with that. And typically, I mean, my philosophy has always been when we practice it, we're practicing the communication and everything else as much as anything, not necessarily maybe what you're going to do in the classroom, but making sure we get the word out, making sure we, mental preparation and mental reps, I guess, for our staff as much as anything. But I'd rather not get into telling kids, especially young kids, and talking about potential, intruders. And so, yeah, I agree with you. There's a fine line to walk there, and we want our kids to look forward and be excited to come to school, and we don't want to scare them. And so, yeah, you got to be delicate with it, but most importantly, the staff and our people have to be ready. And so that's what we try to rehearse when we do it. It's the communication. Okay, this alert went off. If it was real, what would I do? And just making sure that we can respond. It's we know, we've learned that. I mean, the police aren't going to, they're not there before an incident is over half the time or more, so that's why the panic button, that's why the communication and the immediate response on campus is so important. Locked doors, at Parkland, an awful incident, but the doors that were locked, he didn't go in. He didn't get in because they move on. They're looking for an easier target. And so if we can get everybody locked down quickly and behind locked doors, we can minimize the impact of the bad guy. But that's what the panic button is all about to me, is getting everybody behind locked doors. It's a race to get that done. And if you can get that done, you may buy 5 minutes to get the police there. That's the goal.
Well, thank you, Randy. Where do people find more information about your school district, I guess, on the internet, or find you on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Yep. On the internet,
and
it's under wheatlandschool.com.
Is there a website for the safety app? Or
Yep. It's locknowapp.com. If they have a question on anything related to the app or school, they could reach out to me on there. We've got an email on there. The team does, and I do. The best thing about being an educator, and I learned this when I got into being, throughout. I mean, we don't ever get it all figured out, but when you go and talk to other administrators, stealing ideas, and what are you doing to help with this? And our administrators are really good about that, and they've helped me tremendously. So if I can ever give back, I'd love to do so.
Terrific. Thank you so much, sir.
I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on.
The Ed Leader's Edge podcast is produced by the Journalistic Learning Initiative. Please check out our latest books, Language Arts in Action from W.W. Norton Publishing, and Raising Empowered Learners from Rauman and Littlefield. For more information about our work, please visit journalisticlearning.org or edleaderedge.org. Thanks for listening.